Let's go.
Actually, Theo's head is not. It's not.
He hasn't got that bulk.
He doesn't have the look sort of.
Born and bred here. Hey, sixth generation Australia. Where, that's what he calls it.
Let's go. Well, it's an impeccably observed minute silence here at Jack Edwards Reserve. It's Sunday afternoon football, elimination final. It is Oakleigh Cannons. It is Preston Lions. It doesn't get much bigger than this. The 2024 champions against the Preston Lions, who haven't played finals football at this level for 17 years. We're excited. Thank you for joining us. My name is Steve Curtin. Alongside me, a warm welcome, Neil Simons.
20 years, Steve, since we've seen Jack Edwards welcome the Preston Lions travelling fans. But it's not just the 17 years that Preston haven't played finals for. It's not the fact that Oakleigh have made the finals yet again under Chris Taylor. There's a fresh new grandstand that awaits us. $14 million spent on an incredible pavilion, which is in action for the first time this afternoon. And it awaits one of the biggest clashes, one of the most storied rivalries in Victorian football, renewed here in the heart of Oakleigh. And we'll take you through the starting lineups, of course, starting with the home side in the Oakleigh Cannons, who last week secured a fairly convincing win against South Melbourne. 3-0 winners on that occasion. Number 2, Brodie Boyce. Number 22, Matthew Dench. Number 16, Ajak Dew. Number 11, Adam Duradovich. Number 1, Nick Feely. Number 10, Joe Guest. Number 4, Jordan Hall. Number 3, Connor Hampson. Number 8, Cameron McGilp. Number 9, Alex Salmon. And number 14, Kingsley Sinclair.
Well, a formidable lineup for the Cannons, but there's no change to that Preston Lions lineup that's unbeaten. 6 wins, in fact, in their last 6, and they haven't conceded a single goal since they were beaten here by 4-0 against the Oakleigh Cannons. That was their last time they tasted defeat. And again, as we say, no change. So they line up Ryan Scott, the star mid-season signing, in goal. In defence, the captain, the ever-present Stefan Nigro, Matt Bozanowski, Jake Trajkowski, Luke Jego, and the former Cannon, Oliver Kubalay. Jonas Markowski in the 10 position. Out wide, it is Leighton Brooks on the right, Gianna Bunn on the left, and Luke Francis will lead the line. The subs this afternoon for Louis Jaseski's side, Lucas Trinkowski, the substitute keeper. Also available to him on the benches, Aaron Anderson, Giorgio Sedenis, Connor Bell, Marcus Rohn, Jason Romero, and Brandon Lawton. So plenty of good options available off the bench for Louis Jaseski. While for Chris Taylor, he's got plenty of experience as well. Jacob Tratt, one of the substitutes. Also Noah Holmes, Campbell Strong, Jack Wachowski, the sub-keeper, Thomas Alessandrados, Roy Gregory, and Asad Kasumovic, the flying winger. The first set piece of the afternoon will go the way of the Cannons.
Here is Joe Guest. The stand over this one was pivotal in the win last week against South Melbourne. Ryan Scott is able to claim his first finals campaign back in the NPL Victoria since at 2019. John Anastasiadis led Bentley Greens as they went all the way to the final against Avondale. Brooks looking to send one laterally. It's Ajak Dew now who is able to hold poise and send it out wide to Adam Duradovich. Crosses past halfway. He's got his Oakleigh Cans supporters in waiting on that far side. It's a fairly unusual position for the home side supporters to be, but that is the new norm here at Jack Edwards Reserve. Of course, the side in which we're calling on is the designated Preston Lions fan zone, and it is a raucous atmosphere. Steve, I've never experienced anything like this, but it is tantalising at best.
That's right. It's very hard to even hear yourself think in front of this fever-pitch crowd. They've wandered in just before kick-off in big numbers. Here's an early chance for Hampson. Flags up over on the far side. Jack Morgan is our man in the middle this afternoon. Assistant referees are Ben Lepaleo, Jackson Landy. Fourth official is Jock Quartermain presiding over this one. And of course, needless to say, one of these teams' NPL Victoria season will end today.
Yes, I think Cannons have had a topsy-turvy season. They had that really bad patch of games in the middle portion of the campaign, losing a couple on the trot. And I think for them, it's about recomposing themselves ahead of big games. We know that they can take it up against the best teams in the league, and they have the wool over the Preston Lions. They have not lost to Preston in 17 years. Granted, Preston have been a bit further down the pyramid in those imparting years, but nonetheless, they would go into this game overwhelming favourites. But nonetheless, Preston have had a very good run of games recently, and all the more familiar with success, and especially with a very comfortable win last weekend against the Dandenong Thunder. Granted, it was a very rotated Thunder side, who now, of course, have been knocked out of the NPL Victoria.
Well, what a season the Thunder had, by the way, finishing third in the comp behind the two absolute juggernauts of NPL football anywhere in the country in Avondale and Heidelberg. But they were undone by a Jamie Latham stunner last night in front of a fever-pitched crowd as well in the Dandy Derby over at George Andrews Reserve. What a weekend of football we're seeing as well, with Heidelberg winning as well. We have to mention that over the A-League premiers last night in Auckland. 2-0 as well, if you don't mind. NPL Victoria really feels like the centre of the universe at the moment as Preston look to go on the attack here. It's a good pass to pick out Albano. The flag's down here. John Albano. He collides with Ajak Dayu. Jack Morgan is happy to wave play on there, but what a ball there from Luke Francis to pick out Albano, Neil.
Fantastic from the Englishman. He's demonstrated his striking acumen in recent weeks, but playmaking ability is not something to look past in many different ways and shapes. As the throw is taken in on that far side, it's towards John Albano. He's unable to break the space, and Guest towards Salmon. And here's Guest again. Out wide, and Matthew Dench, recently trialled at the Brisbane Roar. Preceding weeks, a heavy touch from him, and Nigra is able to intercept, although space opens up for Guest across the face. That will be a Preston Lions goal kick.
Well, it was Matthew Dench who got the ball rolling in that onslaught that lasted 20 minutes last time these sides met, scoring on 5 minutes. And the Preston fans were certainly giving him a piece of their mind there as he looked to attack down the wing on this Preston side. If you're an Oakleigh Cannons player, you probably don't want to be playing up the left flank in this first half, Neil.
Not at all. And I think they're going to provide some trouble. They're so close to the fencing as well, which provides that extra little bit of animosity and stress maybe for these players. I mean, Matthew Dench didn't make a senior appearance for Charlton Athletic, so I'm sure this would be something that he would not really be used to, playing in front of these types of atmospheres. I think Connor Hampson would be very much accustomed to that in his journey throughout the English pyramid, of course, but I think you can't beat atmospheres like these in the southeast, especially as free kick is given against John Albano on that far side.
A little shove in the back on Brodie Boyce, and what a duel. We're keeping a close eye on that one, Neil, over on the far side of the pitch between John Albano and Brodie Boyce. That could be one of the matchups to watch this afternoon, particularly in the second half when they're over on the broadcast side as well, assuming they're both back out for the second 45. Here is that man, Albano, who's just built into the season. He was used as a substitute a little bit more earlier. Scored that memorable goal, of course, from 12 yards in that cauldron-like atmosphere at Jenna Steele Stadium against South Melbourne. What a night that was. Probably the high point of many footballers' career. I'll have to ask him if he finds that this is his high point as well, but it's a splendid career that Gian Albano's had, the West Aussie, and he's kicking on and looking forward to the National Second Division or the Australian Championship, as many of these Preston Lions players will be. We heard as well a short time ago, Neil, that they've got a little pre-season trip, or in-between season trip. They're going to be heading over to Europe and enjoying a bit of a training camp in Macedonia, so that's exciting stuff.
It really just demonstrates how massive Preston Lions are, and they've cast their net far and wide beyond just the confines of Australia. As we see Leighton Brook looking to get in behind past Connor Hampson, but the Englishman deals with it perfectly and look to slide it towards the Kiwi and Kingsley Sinclair. Hasn't got many options to choose from and decides to opt to go down the line and posits to find Matthew Bozanovsky, who scored his first headed goal last week against the Dandenong Thunder. I believe he's had a bit of stick for that for Josh Parrish on the NPL Victoria podcast.
Well, he's a big unit, but doesn't always necessarily translate to attacking in the opposition box from the air.
No, not quite, as the heavy touch.
Always. Sometimes they're shorter men with impressive vertical leaps.
Well, it's a very intriguing one to observe, of course, with, I guess, one of Preston's favourite sons in Matt Bozanovsky and Jonas Markovsky, of course. Returning to the club in some way was Bozanovsky, but I guess for Markovsky, this is his second stint at the club. What a career he had. He was playing a state league at one point with Faulkner, and they made a journey to the A-League with the Brisbane Roar, and hasn't had the greatest of seasons.
It's an incredible rise that year.
Oh, really?
He got the golden boot with Altona, and Brisbane Roar came knocking. It's amazing progression for a striker to come on and do that. It's so hard to do, and it gives a lot of hope to people out there in the state leagues. A lot of state league footballers tuning in this afternoon. We hope you're enjoying the action here. Glorious sunshine here in Oakleigh South this afternoon. Steve Curtin and Neil Simons with you for the call. I mentioned the duel on the far side of the pitch. This duel between Brooks, who's got the better of Hampson here. He gets the ball in early. Albano arriving at the back post. Gian Albano's first touch was decent, but he ran out of room and eventually running out of play. And he's down on his haunches here as well.
Well, he's had a bit of a stop-start season, Gian Albano. Started with, I guess, like Preston Lions as a whole, like a house on fire. And then sort of fell by the wayside, was in and out of the team more or less. And whenever one player has had a dip in form, others have stepped up. Leighton Brooks started the season off incredibly well. Many put him in pole position for an Isuzu A-League contract. That likely isn't going to come to fruition, but others have stepped up in their absence. It'd be Jason Romero, Jonas Markovsky, among others. So they've had a really good end to the campaign, and they'll look to carry that in the next 5 minutes or so in these first crucial opening 10 minutes.
We're just speaking pre-match as well, Neil. If Preston can get the win over the Cannons today, it'll be the first time since July 2008 when they actually beat Oakleigh twice in that month due to a postponed game that was pushed back from earlier in the season. So can they repeat the feat today some 17 years later?
And the throw in for the Oakleigh Cannons. That new grandstand seats 500 spectators. The new canteen is in action. The function room upstairs I don't think is, and neither are the dressing rooms. So it's a soft launch on a very large occasion. I think it's a soft launch, Steve.
It's a very firm occasion, this one. Finals football in NPL Victoria.
And
but it is, I think it is. It's a bit of a trial, isn't it? The seating bowl is looking fantastic, and yeah, really well done to Oakleigh Cannons and Monash Council as well for getting that off the ground. It's a tremendous piece of footballing infrastructure. It can't be overstated, I think, the value of having fans to be able to come along and have an elevated view of the action that's going on at these local grounds. I think it elevates the product in more ways than one, Neil, and it's worth its weight in gold, that bit of football infrastructure.
100%.
And the only way it could be better is if we're over there, but we're not over there today, but hopefully next time there is a match played, we'll be filming from over there.
As Ajak Dew's pass goes high and wide, former St. Albans Dinamo centre half and Western United youth product. Jego. They'll slide it towards Negro, but Salmon's able to intervene. Now Duradovic. He's got the run on that right flank towards Brody Boyce now. The Queenslander looking to cut inside, but really well done by Dom Folino. And here come the Preston Lions with Gian Albano, the Western Australian. Able to win his side throw. Right next to the Oakleigh benches.
Feels like a bit of a quiet achiever, Dom Folino, just getting the job done at left
absolutely.
back.
And I think
maybe not grabbing the headlines with goals and assists, but
yeah, and he's one of the
defensively very good.
Yeah, one of the very few players that did play in that VPL1 promotion side, and he's obviously kept his starting left back spot this season and has shone through in many patches, and has to be said, has been a great custodian at the back, the former Melbourne City youth product, and one to watch in the coming years. Still fairly young as well, so has a lot of promise. Here do the Oakleigh Cannons come. A great switch out towards that left flank. It neatly falls towards Connor Hampson now. Got Matthew Dench for support, and he's sent it high and wide over the bar to the adulation and delights of the travelling Preston fans.
I just touched on it briefly before, but the duel on this near side, Leighton Brooks and Connor Hampson, two players who will be in the figuring for the team of the season in NPL Victoria this year, going toe-to-toe. And we saw earlier Brooks just getting the better of his opponent, giving him the slip and getting in behind. Preston unable to make the most of the opportunity. And the opportunities could be scarce today. Neither side wants to show too many of their cards too early, especially. Could be a match that we see go the distance this afternoon. Ryan Scott conceded those 4 goals against Oakleigh, as we mentioned earlier, in his debut with Preston. Hasn't conceded a goal since. An incredible record. 6 wins, 6 clean sheets. What a form line to bring into finals football, Neil.
Yeah, and that's what you expect when you have a player like Ryan Scott in your ranks. Of course, one Scott had to go, one had to come in. That's the nature of Victorian football.
They have to have a Scott in goals at some point.
And yes, he's a very tidy, experienced player with A-League and NPL championship winning experience. I believe he's the only A-League champion alongside the NPL Victoria champion in the league, aside from another certain player in the league. But he brings a lot of goalkeeping acumen and I think hasn't really lost a step whilst he's been within the Isuzu A-League setup. I think him and Michael Weir were the players who are in the Jets' ranks over the recent seasons. That's a very poor touch from Matthew Dench. Here's Stefan Negro on this near side.
You mentioned Ryan Scott as well. Last time he played in an NPL Victoria final, if I'm right, was when he won the penalty shootout.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
Bentley Greens at Amy Park.
That's right. And
so he's got pedigree at this level.
He does, most definitely. And speaking of Avondale, they'll be in action in the Australia Cup semi-final at 3 p.m. against the Newcastle Jets, although we prefer if you watch this one here on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel.
If we give you any score alerts, we'll tell you to turn the sound down first, just in case you want to watch it in suspense after this one, perhaps.
Here's Francis' flick-on header. Juratovic forced centrally. Head tennis at the moment here at Jack Edwards. And Dench, neat little keepy-uppies and able to retain possession, but eventually it's falling by the way of the former Melbourne Victory, Brisbane Roar, Central Coast Mariner, Stefan Negro.
Just back on Ryan Scott again. His signing in the mid-season, it's almost shades of the double signing of Hall and Tratt for Oakleigh last year, which was absolutely pivotal in them going all the way in September, winning that grand final out at home in the Matildas against South Melbourne. And you wonder if Preston might be onto something special there. We might see them on the final day of the season in September. With a defence that keeps keeping clean sheets, it's certainly a fair argument.
Well, there will be another transfer window opening up in a few weeks' time, I believe, Steve, for the Australian Championship, in which the Preston Lions will be taking part. The first home match is on the 11th of October. All participants confirmed for that competition as well, so that is something to keep your eye on.
That's right. They've got the Northwest Sydney Spirit in their ranks, the team that plays out in the Arctic Circle in the outer suburbs of Sydney. They've got Canberra, Croatia. They've also got Avondale in their group too, so we'll get an all NPL Victoria derby in the Australian Championship as well coming your way in October. Can't wait for that, but there's a lot of football to come before then in this final series. Off to a great start last night. A huge upset with Dandy City. Some might say it wasn't an upset, but for me, 6 beating 3rd. Dandy Thunder's been excellent this season. Whereas Dandy City, they got bounced out of the finals at this very venue last year. They've certainly learned something after they made the finals at the first time of asking last year. They just snuck in the last week of the season as well when Hume City fell out of the top 6. A little bit of possession being enjoyed here by the Cannons. Ajak Dayu. We mentioned that double signing of Hall and Tratt that Chris Taylor made in the mid-season window last year. Hall is the player that coming back into the team today, and Tratt misses out, dropping to the bench.
I don't mind the team selection from Chris Taylor. Always got to keep players on their toes. Jack Wachowski was signed mid-season as well from the Central Coast Mariners, and he hasn't featured in the last 2 match days either.
Noah Holmes, another one
Noah
too.
Holmes as well.
In midfield last week. Kingsley Sinclair, not normally a central midfield, but he's had to play there so much this year. The Swiss Army knife of Oakleigh South, which is Kingsley Sinclair, can play as a fullback, plays a centre midfielder, which he's doing today, and there could be a chance here for Jonas Markowski. It looks like he's been fouled on the edge of the area. Advantage is paid by Jack Morgan, and Albano's got the crowd rocking here. Preston Lions take the lead. It's a big game player and a big moment for John Albano, and the fans are going absolutely mental here, Neil.
Big game player, John Albano. He's made for big moments, from Knight Stadium to Jenner's Steel to Jack Edwards. He's put his name in headlights this afternoon.
What a hit.
Oh, my word. These scenes.
Doesn't he love it? Oh. Amazing. Just saw the ball sitting up, and it's fantastic refereeing from Jack Morgan, who could have sounded the whistle for the foul on Jonas Markowski, who was knocked to ground. I think it was by Kingsley Sinclair, about 20 with change, yards out from goal.
Wow.
And it just sat up for John Albano, and he couldn't have hit it any sweeter, Neil.
He couldn't have. John Albano, against South Melbourne, he's delivered multiple incredible goals, be it the winner a few years ago at Knight Stadium, be it the Panenka penalty at Jenna Steele. That will live long in the memory. So too this will at Jack Edwards.
We were talking only moments ago about the Panenka penalty being the biggest moment.
Oh.
He might have just trumped it right there.
He might have spoiled the housewarming party for the Oakleigh Cannons here at Jack Edwards Reserve. It's a buoyant atmosphere. It is a Victorian footballing atmosphere. This is the new norm. And we do find now Jordan Hall on the ball. The Oakleigh Cannons will certainly feel as if they're slightly hard done by. They've had a couple of good opportunities going forward and a great ball sprayed out wide. It's Hampson looking to flick it on, and Ryan Scott is caught in the midst of it following an attempted shot from Adam Dorado, was looking to flick it on. But Steve, that was an impeccable finish from Gian Albano, and he has the poise and creativity, of course, in his late 20s to deliver moments like that. It's a fantastic duality, examining both sides and the experience they have. And that looks like, I can't believe Ryan Scott's okay. That looked painful.
He's built of tough stuff. In his days with the Bentley Greens, he was known for travelling from the job site, maybe playing a bit of cricket as well, trying to squeeze in a bit of football training. He's an all-rounder. He's definitely made of sterner stuff, and he spread himself there with total bravery and bounced back up to his feet.
Yes.
It's the old saying of if you go in hard, you won't get hurt. Certainly applied to Ryan Scott there again.
They are riding every challenge with their travelling supporters, the Preston Lions. It's almost like they're amalgamated as one collective unit here at Jack Edwards Reserve. And I have to say, Steve, there has to be at least 2,000 to 2,500 in attendance here. If you were to do the math, both stands fit around 1,000, and there's plenty in and around the ground as well. Here's Jordan Hall, looks out wide towards the Queenslander and Brodie Boyce. Space to work with. Decides to fashion one in towards Salmon. A deft touch, and it's into the hands of Ryan Scott.
I like the movement there from Juratovic coming inside, being nice and close to Salmon for that little knockdown there. It's not quite on the same page, but so much space and time for Brodie Boyce to supply the cross. He perhaps could have gone a couple of yards further up the pitch, but he decided to get the ball in early, and he did find Salmon. But so far, the Cannons unable to fashion an opportunity on goal. Here is Alex Salmon combining with Juratovic. Those two exchanging positions, and Joe Guess making the run in beyond the number 9, but they couldn't find him. So we talk about that midfield composition today. It's Sinclair and McGill, which might be the preferred one for the rest of the season, if there is to be further football for Chris Taylor's side. Here is McGill on the edge of the area. Scored a fantastic goal against South last week. Here's Guest. Good aerial duel. Bozanowski, the taller man, 195 centimetres, using all of his height there.
Big Matthew Bozanowski. Of course, Macedonian Youth International, I'm sure. Zoran Petrevski will be very pleased with his recent form. Of course, that's his uncle. It's embodied within the history of his family, Matt Bozanowski. It really does bleed Preston colours, and that's what you want to see. Players having an inextricable connection to their clubs in the NPL Victoria, as we see another throw-in now for the Oakleigh Cannons. So look to reset through Jordan Hall. A stint at Green Gully prior to re-signing with Melbourne City. Here's Dench, central left-hand side, looks further left for Connor Hampson. Nice little 1-2 with his fellow countryman Joe Guest. And they'll win themselves a timely throw-in, I believe. I'm not sure if it went entirely out for a corner.
It's hard to see.
Hard to see because we've got the massive
Neil.
Preston Lions flag.
I thought it might have gone out for the first Oakleigh corner of the afternoon for half a second.
It actually has, yes.
It maybe has. So Joe Guest will be able to deliver the outswinger here.
Yes.
Ajak Dayu Jordan Hall and Alex Salmon and Connor Hampson are all options lurking around the penalty spot. Bosnowski's going to be able to rise highest. It's allowed to bounce. Ajak Dayu picks up the second ball. Here's McGilp. He can play back. He's got plenty of Cannons players behind him, and this is Sinclair running at his man and trying to play the ball out wide. McGilp in front of the Preston subs bench, over the top. It's picked up by the retreating Leighton Brooks, who's got plenty of space and time to kick his pass, although he played it straight to Hampson. Again, that duel is one to watch, and Hampson wins the free kick this time. Hampson and Brooks going toe-to-toe on this near touchline. Here's Guest. Finds Dench. First touch by Matthew Dench. Hampson retaining the width. Chalk on his boots out there on the touchline. Guest, Dench. This is good combinations by the Cannons. But again, it's well defended by that organised Preston Lions defence, led by their captain, ever-present this season, Stefan Negro.
He spoke about his love for the club in recent weeks on multiple platforms and how connected and indebted and grateful he is to the Preston Lions for bringing him in. Didn't think he would experience such passion after leaving the professional setup in the Isuzu Youth A-League, but of course he has played at this level in many parts. Has Stefan Negro with the likes of Green Gully.
Here's the chance. We'll just stop you there because it's the chance for Sinclair. It all opened up for him. And that's the first shot in anger fired at Ryan Scott. He's able to field it well. But yeah, as you mentioned, Stefan Negro, the boy from Ballarat, it's been a good career story. A couple of spells at Victory. He's been to the Mariners, been at Gully. And he's now such a good leader here from that right back position for the Preston Lions. And it's cut out by Hampson. Hampson just edging that battle between he and Brooks in the last 5 minutes. Here's Dench. His preferred position is left fullback, but due to the two left fullbacks being in the best 11, he's continued playing on as the left winger, and he's made a good fist of it this year.
He has.
For a position he's not normally used to playing.
He has, and assuming that his trial at the Brisbane Roar hasn't been successful as of yet, he's been a very tricky customer this season. He's played the bulk of the games for the Cannons this season in the league, and more or less will be in and around team of the year, you'd probably say, for the NPL Victoria. He's been a quiet achiever under this Chris Taylor system. There's a great little 1-2 touch from Guest. Hampson driving centrally, looks laterally for Kingsley Sinclair. Furthermore is Adam Duradovic, former Bentley Greens youth product, and he's caught unawares as Sinclair. It's Luke Jago. Now Francis. Can he get the beating of Ajak Dayu? He won't. And he seeks the run of Brooks out wide. Francis looking to enter the area. Across the face it goes. And now it's impeccable work from Leighton Brooks and Matthew Dench to recover possession, respectively. As now we will see Connor Hampson throw this in now. Of course, was teammates at Curzon Ashton with Joe Guest at some point. Looks to throw down the line. Salmon flicks on. Bozanovsky, Kubele, Negro. And a fantastic reset from the Preston Lions. Jake Tchaikovsky now. Scott, Bozanovsky. The Lions resetting. So that's been the mantra from Louis Asevsky to not exactly mount the press at all times. Kubele. Unawares. Negro. Now Jago. Bozanovsky. Laterally again for Jake Tchaikovsky. Looks further left for Lino. 1-2 with Albano. Jago picks up the scraps in midfield, out wide again. Here's Albano. Looks to fashion one in towards Jordan Hall in the corner for the Preston Lions on that far side.
Well, it was well played by Jordan Hall. He had to contort himself there to block that cross. Man who brought up 100 games in NPL Victoria 2 rounds ago when they managed to get a point at Olympic Village. Not too many teams doing that this season. And
Not at all.
Jago over to take the corner kick over near the warming up group of 7 Oakleigh substitutes over there.
Yes, the extra substitute as a result of finals competition. Here's Jago now.
7 on the bench for both.
Oh, yes, that's right. Here's Luke Jago. Looks affectionate near post. Hall gets it away. Might sit for Oakleigh. Now, again, the strike on goal en route. Deflected and in! A Preston Lions boy, born and bred. Look at this scene. Look at the jubilation. A fallen giant one day. The Preston Lions take a 2-0 lead. It took a deflection, but I believe the goal will be given to Jake Trajkovski. He's fought through thick and thin to integrate himself into the starting lineup. And against all odds, the Lions take a 2-0 lead.
Well, I think it might have been Dom Foligno.
Potentially.
He doesn't score too many. It's his first goal at this level. He was sitting as one of those players in the rest defence outside of the box. Oh, and he took it so well, but could have gone in on its own merits. Took a deflection, went the complete other direction. Feely stranded. The Cannons can't believe it. They were on the front foot for the last 10 minutes. Preston with one attack, win the corner kick. And this 2-goal cushion, it's going to make things really tough. The scoreboard pressure on Oakleigh now, Neil, it's just increasing astronomically. Here's Hampson. Guest. They'd love to pull one back here. Dench is lurking. Negro picking up the loose ball up to Francis. Trying to lead Ajak Dayo a merry dance. Good cover from Hall, sweeping across.
Had a chance to reset, Steve. I mean, I think the Oakleigh Cannons players look immensely under pressure. They look hesitant in their build-up, and I think that a lot of that plays into the supporters here. They've travelled in numbers.
Well, we talk about the last match here between these sides, and yes, Oakleigh managed to get an amazing 3-2 win over at Jenna Steele Stadium, BT Connor earlier in the year. It was a different looking Preston side in both of the encounters, but the difference here tonight from that 4-0 win when they last met is this colossal away fan turnout that Preston have this afternoon. You talk about the 12th man, it's almost like a 12th and 13th man here this afternoon for Preston, Neil.
I'd even argue 14. You put into relation the noise that is generated from this contest, and as you know, Steve, you have FX mics everywhere. The fans here on this near side are generating far much more than the opposite side, really. And I think it has to be said, they are caught unawares by the press that they've mounted, the pressure that they've enforced. Lujaskevski's side have been vehement in their mentality. And I think they're just going to sit in the low block and see if the Oakleigh Cannons can penetrate at all and cause any danger. As Guest looks to feed one in. A defensive mistake at the back, nearly, and Scott's able to let it go clear. Boyce flicks on. Now Sinclair, chested down, out towards Brody Boyce again. Was in the nominees for the Queensland Young Player of the Year a few seasons ago prior to arriving here at Jack Edwards. Now Dench. Out to that far side, Hampson. Great lunging effort from Leighton Brooks, doing his defensive duties. The work rate superb from all of these Preston players as Francis unable to get the first touch. Ajak Dayo now. And Brooks wins it back. It's Francis. A ball over the top for Leighton Brooks. He's bearing down on goal. A great save from Feely.
Yeah, good stop. Held his ground well. Not much reaction time. It was straight down the middle. But the Cannons, they're shooting themselves in the foot here, giving these kind of opportunities to Preston. They get a third before half-time. It could be good night and thank you here for the Cannon season for 2025. The reigning champions of this competition against the challengers promoted to the top tier, making the finals at the first time of asking. And they're putting on a tremendous exhibition this afternoon, the Preston Lions. Make no mistake. It's a professional performance by these Preston boys. Up the field by Scott, looking for Brooks again. It's a good header by Hampson. Sinclair and McGilp. The double pivot combining. Looking a little bit flat, a little bit out of ideas. And the seating bowl up top. So it comes through to Scott. The seating bowl up top of that new stand, it's just looking a little library-like over there at the moment, Neil.
Oh, well, I think they're sitting, and usually I would say applauding, but there's nothing to applaud about these first 35 minutes or so. It's been opened up in every facet. I must say, Oliver Oakleigh and Luke Jego, as tidy customers as they are, have more or less outplayed the midfield of the Cannons. When you have players in unsuited positions like Kingsley Sinclair and Matt Dench, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle no matter what the circumstances are. Juratovic hasn't started too many games. I understand Joe Knowles is injured and out for the season, but I don't think the players that they've brought in reflects the quality that Chris Taylor's really used to in the final third, as now Sinclair looks out wide for Brody Boyce. Ball. It's McGill just on halfway. Former Swindon Town and Birmingham City player. Of course, had a stint at the Melbourne Victory, we can't forget. Hampson. Preston supporters aren't too fond of him, it appears, as the ball is lofted towards Salmon. Parading outside of the penalty area. Neat work from Hampson to find the byline. Cross towards the back stick, and Scott's able to claim with ease and will take his time. No need to roll it out quickly.
Well played by Hampson. He really needed Alex Salmon in the box there as a target. Talk about attacking options for Chris Taylor. He's got the likes of Asad Kasimovic on the bench. It's one of the best crosses of the football at this level. Now you will see someone who can come on and whip some low balls in and give some good service for Salmon and Guest arriving in the area late as well. Thomas Alessandratos, another attacking option who's banged in 6 this season. Between his 1 here and 5 at Port Melbourne. His Boyce, he's galloping down. Good challenge by Jego. Jego, another one of those players who has been a great pickup since coming across to Preston. His 2nd season there. He didn't feature in the starting 11 in that 4-0 defeat. Neither he nor Kubalay started. Both of those returning from times out of the team and coming off the bench that day. When they got on, the damage was already done. 4-0 inside 20 minutes. That's certainly not been the case for Preston this afternoon. Dench has got the better of Negro. He can get the ball in on his right foot. It's a decent looking one off the boot. Juratovic arriving, but Scott is the man of the moment out there as well.
He's been so confident this afternoon. Hasn't had much to do by way of saves, but the way that he's parading his penalty box, he's just acting very confident, and that's what you have to be as a goalkeeper, marshalling his defence.
And what that does as well to the defenders in front of you, Neil, as well, you can see they all walk a foot taller, that back four, when they know they've got an experienced custodian behind who's going to be there to stand up when the big moments, when it matters, but he's also going to be there to organise you as well and tell you if you're out of position, help you out. Maybe in no uncertain terms, perhaps. Whatever it takes.
Absolutely so, and I think it's a real testament to the quality that Preston are able to bring in now, of course, with an abundance of resources returning to the top flight. Dench dropping into midfield, slightly dispossessed. He's got Guest to his left. His guest looking to slide one through, but Negro able to win it back for the away side. Although playing in their home strip this afternoon, loft the ball out towards the intended target of Francis. Feely sends it high and long. Bozanovsky heads highest. Brooks. Markovsky, deft touch. Oh, the Preston slightly forced narrow. And now Tchaikovsky. Bozanovsky. Stefan Negro to his right was Kubele. That's a neat turn for Brooks. That's delightful. And I'm not sure what the intention was there. Maybe a shot, maybe a cross. I'm not sure what Brooks would say, but nonetheless, that will be
maybe his head was spinning after that turn, Neil. It was a fantastic piece of skill there as he drifted inboard from his wing position. What a fantastic afternoon football is. It's heavy rain on the way out here. It was pelting down on the drive out here from the city, arriving, and then the sun's come out. It's only 14 degrees, but Preston fans over here enjoying. They're being solar powered this afternoon. They're amped up over this side of the ground. And the shadow that is cast over the Oakleigh fans on the far side is literal and metaphoric at the moment.
Yeah, they've looked dismal. I have to call a spade a spade. That doesn't seem to me much of a tactical switch or intuition in these first opening 40 minutes. It's more or less the tried and tested formulae that they've succeeded within in for the most part this season, but they've been outplayed by Preston. They wanted more, it appears.
I think they've been decent in the balance of play, but it's the clinical moments that Preston has edged them on today.
Absolutely.
Yes, there's a bit of luck there with the deflection for the Foligno goal, but Brooks is getting in behind. Francis looking dangerous. Albano's looked dangerous. They've created opportunities, and they've made the most of them. And here's Negro getting forward from fullback for the first time. Kubele, back where he won 2 NPL Victoria championships.
Could he win a third? It's very much
at his new club.
Oh, it'd be an unheralded achievement to win titles of 2 different clubs, as Francis has got space to work with. Looks to go onto his left and goes to ground, and that will be the Preston Lions free kick just on the edge of the D region.
Well, he's a smart player, isn't he? He just initiated that challenge, really. Kingsley Sinclair just leaving a leg out ever so slightly. And the big striker was brought down in a handy position here for Preston. So Nick Feely organising his wall here.
Yes. Well, it will be Markovsky standing over this one alongside Leighton Brooks.
Both good options.
Both very good options to have. We've seen Australians score miraculous free kicks in recent weeks. Can they repeat the exploits of one Nestoria and Kunda? I don't know, but it will be Jonas Markovsky seemingly standing over this one. Nick Feely to beat. Preston fans eagerly anticipating what might be their third of the afternoon, and 1 foot into the preliminary final. It's Jonas Markovsky! What a save from Feely! It came with such pace and ferocity, and he got down to his right in the nick of time.
Well, there was no draft excluded there, Neil, and I think he's got underneath the wall. The wall's jumped. Feely has made a top save there. He would have seen that very late.
Yeah, it's going to replay this one now.
That one again on the replay screen.
Yeah, he went under the wall, or just next to it. That's a really, really impeccable save from Nick Feely.
Well, I wonder if Feely might employ the draft excluder the next set piece. He had 4 in the wall. Clever to play it underneath.
And here is Luke Jago to stand over this one on that far side. It's Jago high looping ball. It's Feely with something to contend with. Eventually he does, able to get it clear. It's Foligno, hooks it back in, and Jack Deu. Negro. That's a high clearance as well. Feely's able to punch it away again. It's turning into more of an AFL marksman, as the Cannons might look to have the run of the green here on that left-hand side. Dench is beaten all ends up by Stefan Negro, and that has been a defensive masterclass from Stefan Negro.
Well, Nick Feely there, that first, I'll say the second punch, the double fister, was fairly academic in a bit of space. The first one was a sea of heads all around. I wouldn't want to be putting my head near that big. You could hear that one come through on the sound. in the mix there, and it was a solid putt, as you say. It was like something like the old days of Gary Pert or someone at fullback at the MCG in the 90s there, clearing that one away.
I think Sean Burgoyne would be very proud of that spoil. I think that's what they call it, right? I'm not sure.
Spoil, yeah. Spoil is, that will certainly fly. Here's on the far side. This boys combining with McGill, looking for options and looking for a way back into this game. If they can get one now before the halftime break, it'd certainly make things interesting. We are in the shadows of halftime now. Just a couple of minutes before the players disappear down the tunnel, and they're still using the dressing rooms on the broadcast side of the venue. They'll be in the shiny new dressing rooms coming out of that accordion-style players' entrance that you can see under the grandstand when we're back here next season. Everyone behind the ball here for Preston. This team that's racked up clean sheets in their last 6 games. They're halfway to getting one again this afternoon, just about.
We do have a score update from the Reggio Calabria club, the Newcastle Jets.
Turn your sound down now if you don't want to know the score. Fire away now.
It's 1-0 to the Jets. So not a great start for the Avengers, unfortunately for them. So, yeah, well, I guess as NPL Victoria types, we'd like to see Avondale in the final, but so far does not look great. They actually scored through Xavier Bertoncello, I believe that's his name, in the 6th minute. So good start for the Jets, and what a way to silence the home crowd.
That's right, and still 2-0 here as we go towards the final minute of the first half. Albano with the opener on 18 minutes, firing home from outside the box, and also from a similar position, Dom Foligno with his first goal for Preston in the NPL Victoria competition at this level. A deflected attempt on 30 minutes to double the lead. Oakleigh have been limited to shots from distance. Kingsley Sinclair has pulled the trigger from outside the box, but his attempt was straight at Ryan Scott. Maybe they can fashion something here. Here's Boyce, tries to get the ball in early. It's away by Foligno, the goal scorer. This is Sinclair again. McGill, again, everyone's behind the ball in the red shirts. Joe Guest dropping deep to try and make something happen, the Oakleigh skipper. Combining with the fellow Englishman there, Hampson and Dench. Just about got the don't argue there from Stefan Negro, and it's out of play for a cannon's throw. Hampson
now in towards Sinclair. He's completely subdued Alex Salmon this afternoon. He's barely got touches on the ball at all. And Jack Deo now towards Jordan Hall. And they need to play with a bit of urgency. I'm not sure if Chris Taylor is one to give the hair-dry treatment at half-time, although this might be one of those cases. Here's Salmon looking out wide. It's Hampson again. Guests. It's Alex Salmon. We mentioned he didn't get a few touches and decides to take the shot from 20 yards out, and it's fashion high and wide.
High degree of difficulty there, but enterprising play nonetheless from the Cannons. They try and get themselves back into this one, but yeah, I think it could be Chris Taylor reading the riot act out to his Cannon side at half-time when they head into the change rooms. We are into stoppage time. We played a minute and a half of added time. Coaches writing down their final talking points for the team talks. Both Louis Asescu, who's nearing in on 300 games as coach of Preston Lions.
We'll have another stoppage, it appears. I think the Oakleigh Cannons will have one final opportunity. In the stroke of half-time. How crucial would a goal be at this point in time? It's Foligno.
Enormous.
That's to say the very least. And Albano down that near channel. Able to win it back for the Preston Lions. And that is the half-time whistle here at Jack Edwards Reserve. What an impeccable start for the away side in the Preston Lions. Gian Albano opened to scoring early, followed by a deflected goal for Don Foligno, not Jay Tchaikovsky, as they go into the sheds 2-0 up with the Oakleigh Cannons. Home advantage, new grandstand, no goals.
Plenty of work to do for the Cannons in the second half as they jog off the pitch, while it's the Preston players getting a rousing ovation from the travelling fans who've made a huge influence on this game you fancy this afternoon. Roaring on. Let's go! Well, hello and welcome back to Jack Edwards Reserve. It's been a Preston onslaught in the first 45. They lead this one by 2-0, and they're in the box seat to play Heidelberg United for a spot in the grand final. That match to take place next week, quite possibly on Friday night, we're hearing. But the Cannons have got plenty of time to turn this thing around. But at the moment, it's goals from Albano and Foligno that separate the two sides. And it's going to be Preston to get us going again in their red kit, playing to the southern end, the left of your screen at home. Thanks for your company for the second 45. Steve Curtin with you, and alongside me, welcome back to the broadcast position, Neil Simons.
Well, what can we say about that first half? The Preston onslaught from start to finish, as you mentioned. They've really looked like the better team in terms of just not the transitional phases of play, but in terms of their build-up. They've looked a bit more diverse in their attacking means. I think the Oakleigh Cannons are very much opted to go for that left channel for the likes of Matthew Dench and Connor Hampson. And I'm sure Chris Taylor, as a serial winner he is, will look to reformulate in many ways. But it's a big, big task. A Herculean one to get their way back into this contest as fashioned in towards Tchaikovsky now.
What do you think, Neil? What can Chris Taylor do to turn this thing around?
Changes, I think, is one of them. But Chris Taylor and substitutions, they don't go well together. Early substitutions at the very least. I think they have artillery on the bench, as we do. We'll hold that thought as Dench looks to weave his way towards that left-hand side. Clips one in towards a free Joe Guest. A gilt-edged chance. Oh, what an opportunity for Joe Guest to get on the score sheet. He thought he would do a lot better with that opportunity. Had a free header, but how about the work from Matthew Dench down that left-hand side to create the space and to bypass, I think it was Stefan Negro. And that was impeccable work to also weave past Bozanovsky, clip one over the top, a free header for Joe Guest, and just didn't quite get it right.
Well, he just let two defenders a merry dance out there on the flank, did Matthew Dench. Ball into the box for Guest. You think he's got to bury that one. It either hung in the air a little bit too long, or he just didn't get that usual signature timing on his header like he would normally do. That's a foul by the goal scorer Foligno on Adam Djuradovic. So it's a good start by Chris Taylor's side in this second 45. Of course, as we mentioned, the winner does play Heidelberg United at the Village next week. We believe that's Friday night. Stay tuned. Check your local guides.
Will it be at the Village? We'll see. Not sure.
It's in by Guest. Whistle on play. He's going to have to take it again. Jack Morgan was not happy with the taking of the free kick. It was a little bit too early, a little bit premature there. So another chance for Ryan Scott to organise his wall of two, which is made up of Albano and Jego.
I only say that if they played at the Village because it was played at the home of the Matildas earlier this season. So we'll see on that one. Guest. What's going on here? This is ridiculous.
I've seen a double retake of a free kick before. And Jack Morgan, the experienced referees, had a great game so far. Allowed that advantage after the foul by Jonas Markowski for Gian Albano to launch that shot, which was the first goal of the game. And we'll see if everyone's satisfied here before Guest delivers the free kick. He needs some quality on this. And it was by Tchaikovsky. It's away again by Negro. Plenty of noise from behind that goal at the northern end. Here's Markowski. Clever touch, but well-read Sinclair. Keeps his feet and wins the free kick. So all the play in the opening minutes of this second half has been in the Preston end with the Cannons in attack. And there's plenty of Cannons fans who've made their way around onto the hill behind the goal at the right of screen to try and suck the ball into the net there, Neil.
How convenient that it's decided to open that side of the ground. It's going to help a lot. I think to have your supporter base egging you on behind the goal is always going to give you that extra level of intensity and I guess desire to bring it home, really. I
think they might have got a bit cold in the grandstand.
I don't know.
Need a bit of sun to thaw out.
It's sunny Melbourne. It's a perfect Melbourne's day, and it's an amalgamation of all different types of weather. It's a great run from Hunt Hampson. It's intercepted by Kuberle and will find space for Leighton Brooks. All too easy for Ajak Joe. To come back from an ACL injury and play at this level and this level of intensity, mind you, is certainly one to be behold, and he's been impeccable in many stretches as they win themselves a free kick to the Preston Lions.
Well, Preston getting into the Oakleigh half for the first time since the break. This match, the third best defence in the comp. Preston Lions against the third best attack. And at the moment, it's the third best defence. Defence holding strong. 2 in the back of the Oakleigh net already.
And it looks like they're going to put Matt Bosganovsky within the line of attack. So,
tall timber going forward.
Dare I say it's Preston's answer to Harry Maguire, or as the NPL Victoria terms, Lucas Inglese. Smash it in now towards the backstick. Might yet fall for John Albano, although that's sent high and onto the old grandstand here at Jack Edwards. And they've also opened up the other side of the grandstand as well, or the hill, should I say, for the Preston Lions supporters. There's a few who have made their way to the corner.
Yeah, they're the ones that have forgotten their hats and sunglasses, I think, Neil. They're trying to get the sun out of their eyes.
Perhaps.
Moving behind Nick Feely's goal. Here's Foligno. He's got no one really ahead of him. It ricocheted from Hall off Markowski, but Hall gets it up the field anyway. Good duel between Bosganovsky and Salmon. It's nodded away that time by Jake Trojkowski. McGill with the switch. There's too much on it. Lands all the way over there in the Oakleigh Cannons technical area, where the team over there is looking a bit pensive at the moment. Chris Taylor and co. They're so calm though, even when the scoreline isn't going their way. They don't look stressed, they don't look frazzled. They might be getting frazzled here if Albano can get in behind. Good duel between Hegan and Brody Boyce. Albano goes to ground. Play on's the call from Jack Morgan, and eventually Albano is going to be penalised for trapping the ball between his legs, Neil.
Certainly seen some unorthodox calls from Jack Morgan, but justified nonetheless, and that's another one of them.
You don't see that rule employed too often.
He's had to go deep into his brain and his knowledge to find that one.
But it is in the rule book.
It is, and that's a really, really good call from Jack Morgan.
Preston fans, some disagreement.
I'm not sure I'm not even sure that I knew that was a rule in football, let alone the Preston Lions supporters. So, nonetheless, the Oakleigh Cannons will be on the charge once more through Ajak Deo. Hampson looking to flick one in. It's all too easy for Luke Jago. Of course, his brother Jimmy retiring in recent months. Salmon back to goal, surveying his options and opts to find Jordan Hall. All Preston Lions players behind the ball.
They're sitting deep, aren't they, that Preston back line?
Jack Deo forces it slightly wide for Jordan Hall. Now McGill at the base of midfield. Chips one over the top. Finds space for Hampson. Bypasses one. Dench will flick on. It falls neatly for the Cannons, and it's Connor Hampson who wins his side. A corner, I believe. That was immense work from Matthew Dench.
Oh, liquid football down the left flank there from the Cannons. And the two nominal left backs combining there. Dench playing as the left winger today, as he's done for the bulk of the season. Hampson making the run up from the fullback position, and Guest can deliver the outswinger here. It's one from the training ground, and Dench, his first touch, drew the defender, and he can clip it in. And Jack Deo was lining up for it. It's away by that wall of red shirts. All the way back to the rest defence of Brody Boyce. He can switch the play, and for the second time in the space of the last few minutes, an Oakleigh Cannons player has lobbed the ball harmlessly out of play over there on that new grandstand side, which is going to be disappointing for the home fans and for Chris Taylor.
It's eeriness surrounding the ground at the moment. I think there's 11 players playing with a bit of angst in respect of the Oakleigh Cannons. They don't look themselves, Steve. I'll have to be honest. They usually are quite a sharp and regimented system that they employ, but that is not the formula in which we've witnessed this afternoon. It's been anything but in many respects, and unless something changes, we could be staring down the barrel of a mouth-watering preliminary final next week as Kubile looked to find John Albano, but inadvertently was caught by Nick Feely. Now Jordan Hall and Jack Deo. It's McGilp in space. Hampson. Out towards that left flank. McGilp out-muscled. And the Preston Lions just play it back towards the Cannons, who had the bulk of the possession at the moment. The ensuing passages as Dench looks to find space, and Jago has sent that nearly into the construction region. That far side.
It's gone all the way down to the Oakleigh train station. I think they're
I
nearly...
wouldn't say that far. I was in Oakleigh Central earlier. It hasn't travelled that far.
It might have been in Oakleigh Central, perhaps.
Oh, who knows?
You can start to reminisce if you're a Preston fan of that last win over Oakleigh back in July 2008, as the ball runs through here to Scott. Bill Damianos opening the scoring for Oakleigh that day. Preston Lions equalising through Rob Dolevsky, and the winner from Johnny Sapazowski doing the double over Oakleigh back in that year in 2008. Louis Jaseski was in goal back then for those games. As we say, Louis Jaseski about to bring up 300 games as coach of the Preston Lions now.
And of course, their last win, as you mentioned, Steve, earlier in July 2008, it was goals from Dolevsky and Kapasovsky who brought home the win for the Preston Lions at this very venue. And here is McGilp now, striding forward.
Nice switch of play.
Very nice switch of play to find Hampson, and I think an inadvertent touch from Leighton Brooks has seen the free kick now for the Cannons. And we'll take that quickly now. McGilp. He's got space to his right. Brody Boyce. Further right is Adam Duradovic. A couple of step overs, driving towards the byline, flicks one in. Ernest side another corner. That's a very good first touch from one of the Oakleigh Cannon supporters, who kicks it right into the feet of Joe Guest.
There we go. We've got Nathan behind the camera giving you the best look at the touches by the players on the park and the spectators behind the goal there as well. Good control. Put that one in the highlights reel.
Joe
in
Guest.
by Guest. It's away at the near post by Kubalay. Here's Albano. He's only got one Preston player ahead of him, which was Leighton Brooks, but the passing channels were closed down. Here's Guest in the players' race. Duradovic can get the good first-time ball in, well held by Scott.
And they look to take it quickly. There's to Preston and Ryan Scott and Leighton Brooks with the initial first touch. Can Francis get the beating of Jordan Hall? It was adjudged to be a legal trudge at the football, but nonetheless, Dench with time and space. And Luke Francis looks to be in a bit of a heap here. Will play continue? It will. And this might be legitimate stoppage underway, and it will be.
If Oakleigh don't put this out of play, it's not going to go down well with the travelling fans, because he's still down in a heap, Luke Francis, from that challenge from Hall. Hall got ball first, I think, and that was Jack Morgan's decision. Did he follow through and get the man as well? A little bit perhaps there. Let's have another look at that one.
Well, on the bench, they do have Jason Romero to bring on, so he would be the ideal change you'd make, most likely. Could play on both flanks as well. Sardenas is another option. Even Connor Bell. You do have the luxury of those options, but it looks like he'll be all okay. But however, they will be playing with 10 men for a few moments, it appears.
I fancy Louis Jaseski might look soon to refresh that attack as well, to keep that high pressing game going if he wants to keep the pressure on the Oakleigh Cannons. I'm saying that they have been content to sit behind the ball, but they do still want to defend from the front. Foligno returns the ball back to Hall.
Well, Oz Cup update, Steve, potentially, shall we?
Now we turn the sound down now if you want to watch the full replay after this. Fire away.
Luca Tavia has brought Avondale within one goal against the Jets. It's currently 2-1 at the Calabria Club on 45 minutes.
There you go. Well, it might be game on back out there, but certainly stay with play here, because there's plenty of football left in this one as we approach the hour mark at Jack Edwards. The Cannons need to get themselves on the scoreboard, but if they can find a goal in the next few minutes, it will certainly set up a ding-dong battle between these two sides, if it wasn't already. Here's Kubalay, the former Oakleigh Cannon champion on 2 occasions, playing the ball forward. Well done again by Hampson. Dench can get the early ball in. There's no one at the back post again, though. Juratovic had wandered into the central position to help support the attack. And there was no one at home at the back post. Hull's going to incur even more of a wrath after that challenge on Luke Francis from the away fans. That have brought the colour and the noise to the NPL Victoria Elimination Final this Sunday afternoon. Francis looks to be moving all right again after that challenge from Hall, so to see he's up on his feet, moving smoothly.
Looks to be all okay. Here's Guest. He's got space to work with, and a measly pass finds its way all the way to Stefan Negro. I'm not sure Luke Jeggo was saw there, potentially. I'm not sure, maybe a hallucination. Perhaps, as Ajak Deo will pick up once again. Here's McGill. He's had a lot of time on the ball in these last few passages. Salmon back towards Ajak Deo. McGill and Joe Guest, 2 players which have been at the club for a few seasons, the more tenured players alongside Nick Feely. Juratovic looks to flick one in right onto the head of Oliver Kubalay. Back towards Adam Juratovic. Will try his luck again. Oh. That is not one of the better crosses you'll see in this competition.
It's just humming its way across the byline and over the fence there from Juratovic. He's had plenty of opportunities to get the ball in. You can see Preston, they're defending deep. They're defending fairly narrow as well, and the likes of Oli Kubalay dropping in there to make an extra defender, just to nod away any crosses. He's so well versed at reading the play, Oliver Kubalay. Any young players play in centre midfield in that defensive role could do worse than watching the way he goes about it, the way he reads the play, the way he controls the tempo. A good acquisition that he's been for Preston Lions this year, coming across after winning the title, playing a huge part in that grand final win last year for the Oakleigh Cannons against South Melbourne. Here's Sinclair, pressure from Markowski. Sinclair was equal to it. He was able to find his central midfield partner in McGilp. 1-2 with Juratovic. That's a really good ball by McGilp. Salmon is lurking in the channel. He fires it across. And what a reaction there from Ryan Scott. Got that right hand down. And there could be an injury concern here. The Preston player who's down is at Matt Bozanowski colliding with the advertising hoardings there, Neil.
Oh, wow. This wouldn't be a great sign, but it appears that he's all okay. Is Matt Bozanowski?
There's not a heap of room between the byline and the fence at that end. There's a lot more at the southern end, the left of screen, or the railway end of the venue. But it is tight there, and the big man, all 195 centimetres of him, was going at full tilt, really colliding with those advertising hoardings down there.
And that was a fantastic reverse pass towards Salmon, and that's what more of the Cannons to provide potentially in his next few stages of play.
And it was excellent.
That was superb, and just to find those angles, to find those openings, they have to find several more. Juratovic further wide as Boyce fashions one in again. Oh, the header from Salmon. It was slightly low for him to reach, but nonetheless, they're knocking on the door, the Oakleigh Cannons.
Well, again, Preston defending narrow, defending deep, allowing those players to overlap. Boyce and Hampson from fullback to come down, run past the winger, get the ball into the box, and they're really counting on the tall timber there. Matt Bozanowski, Jake Trojkowski, and of course, Ryan Scott in goal to repel those aerial threats from the crosses.
Well, that has to be an emphasised factor going forward for the Cannons. I think they're just really trying to parry down the left and right channels all too much, and all play through the central channels to really test the likes of Kubalay. Could be a better formula going forward as Kingston Sinclair intercepts. McGilp goes to ground, and Markowski might have got the run of the green here. There's space for Brooks on that right flank. Feely's come very high out of his
well read in the
small box, as Connor Hampson will be sent on a mission down that left flank. Guest is available centrally. Here's Dench now. Drifts inside as Matthew Dench. He's got McGilp for support. Tweeds away past Markowski and intercepted by Luke Jeggo. Nonetheless, the Willie veteran has given away the foul. Thought he won it initially. As play continues now, although there's a bit of a tussle between Luke Francis, Luke Jago, and Jack Dew.
A bit of a stoush over there on the far side, Neil. It looks like it's simmered down nice and quickly, though.
The best refereeing team in the business here in the NPL Victoria, as ball was directed towards Joe Guest.
Now we're going to see our first change of the afternoon, and it's Chris Taylor, the man who doesn't make too many subs, who's had his hand forced here. He needs to try something. Might be Alessandratos as the player coming on. We'll just confirm that. In fact, it's Kasumovic. So Kasumovic on, Djuratovic off. Djuratovic makes his way off on this near side, making the long way around past the Preston fans. Kasumovic, a player who can whip a ball in. I think this is a great call from Chris Taylor to get one of the better crosses in NPL Victoria on, given the space and time that Preston are allowing in the wide areas at the moment.
And did get on the score sheet in recent weeks, so has been a player more or less in form. That's a really poor giveaway from the Cannons again. It's Francis now, looks to flick it forward for Markovski. Oh, a bit of a intriguing tackle from Jonas Markovski. An unorthodox challenge it was, and that's more or less what the Preston Lions have done. We've seen John Albano hold the ball between his legs. You've seen Jonas Markovski attempt UFC-type takedowns. It's been one of those games, really.
Look, it's been a little bit house of stoush in the middle out there, and we expect that in an elimination final. There's no tomorrows for these sides, and that's the stakes that we see this afternoon. Preston Lions, that 2-goal cushion, and they're just happy to sit on that at the moment.
And they need something different, I have to say, the Oakleigh Cannons. And I don't think Kasumovic is the player that is going to be the difference maker. I would more point towards someone like Alessandratos, who has the pace to bypass players. Guest looks to fashion one in. It's Salmon. Touch was heavy. Might it yet fall? It doesn't quite.
Good block by Jago on Dench there. Salmon was just looking for an option for someone to lay the ball off to there, and he had to wait longer than he would have hoped. Dench eventually came to his call. Jago blocking the shot well.
Jordan Hall. It's been the tried and tested method that has been enforced all afternoon. Ajak Deo out wide again is Hampson. Passes one in. Guest! Last-ditch challenge from the Preston Lions to beat it away for a corner. It is Joe Guest to take this. You have to get this one perfect.
That's right. And again, it's Bozanowski there. He reads those crosses so well. He uses that large frame to cut them out. And now it's Preston defending this corner, looking into that sun. It's an awkward position as Guest plays it into the back post. Ajak Deu won the header. It's away by Markovski. And it's all Oakleigh back up on the halfway line. And Boyce doesn't quite nail the first touch, but he's got space and time on his side anyway. And here's Sinclair, trying to pick out the substitute, Kasumovic. Blocked by the goal scorer, Foligno. Oh, it was a decent ball. Dench, and they're lining up here. And it's going to go in for Connor Hampson. It's another goal from another fullback this afternoon. And Oakleigh have the all-important lifeline. And the home fans have got something to sing about. It's Preston 2, Oakleigh 1.
Well, a fizzing cross from Asar Kasumovic. You pointed at his crossing acumen. It was an impeccable delivery. Didn't quite find its intended target. Eventually it's set up fantastically well for Connor Hampson following the lateral pass. And the Cannons indeed do have a lifeline.
Well, it was almost shades of another NPL Victorian fullback, Jamal Ali there from Connor Hampson, floating his way into the penalty area into more of a central position than you might expect to see a fullback as well. And he was on hand to side foot home. An excellent finish. And you just wonder if Preston have been playing with fire here, allowing this much pressure to be piled on their defence from the Oakleigh Cannons, who've now got a little bit of momentum, and that goal will give them confidence, you fancy, Neil.
This rivalry enters another chapter. The Cannons are unrelenting in their pursuit, and they have the momentum swaying their way from north to southwest. Here's Oliver Kublé riding the challenges, still holding the football. Out wide is Hampson, heavy touch. Near the touchline, inside is McGill. He looks to have conceded a goal kick. but it is not exactly the circumstance to which Preston Lions supporters would have liked to have seen. They've barely had any forays going forward in these opening 25 minutes of the second half, and, well, it poses an intriguing proposal. You've not made a single change either. Is it time to get some rigidity within the midfield channels, potentially?
Connor Bell's been sent to warm up by Louis Jaseski. And that goal ensures that Preston Lions won't get a clean sheet for the first time since their 4-0 loss here on the 27th of June. So their run of 6 consecutive clean sheets is over. Do they need another goal to shore up? With 20 minutes to go here at Jack Edwards Reserve. We've got to play it down for the Cannons. We might need to be putting the ball out of play here, but we won't need to because there's a whistle on play from Jack Morgan. Not to the pleasure of the Preston Lions fans, who are increasingly getting more boisterous over here to our left and right. And it's Cam McGilp, the man who sometimes looks like a war veteran out there in the centre of midfield. He cops so many knocks, but he's back up on his feet.
And it looks like the physio's been told to go back.
He's been waved away.
To avoid that extra stoppage in play.
Sit back down.
I wouldn't quite say that, Steve. Here's Jordan Hall. Looks long for Lino. Towards John Albano. Now Markovski. And Kuberle looks to bomb it forward. Tench completely missed the header. And now Stefan Negro. It's long and wide. The intended target does find its way towards Leighton Brooks, and they've won themselves a corner. Have the Preston Lions. Could this be the moment that they re-enter into an advantageous position? A 2-goal cushion would be much required.
I just feel like they need another goal to feel comfortable here.
A lot of nervousness and eeriness at this near side, Steve Curtin, where we are situated with the Preston Lions supporters.
Yeah, the fans have just tensed up a little bit here since that Connor Hampson goal. Right now they've got the chance from the set piece. It's Jego to take. Bolzanowski shielding the sun from his eyes. Francis is there as well. They're going to be arriving around the top of the penalty area. The header from Bolzanowski, who scored with the Scone last week. He couldn't direct his attempt on target today. But again, it's a familiar path. Jego to Bolzanowski, this time off target. No save required for Nick Feely, who can scan the field ahead of his goal kick. He's going to hit this one long up to the likes of Alex Salmon. And it's a good header by Jego. Jack Day is going to pick up the loose ball here. Here's Hall all the way back to Feely. Francis giving chase. Jack Dayu, calm on the ball, calm in possession. Oakleigh have got the bit between the teeth now after that Connor Hampson goal on 69 minutes to halve the deficit. It was Albano that got us going on 18 minutes. Foligno doubling the lead on 36 minutes, I should say 30 minutes. And the decision's going to go against Oakleigh here. Jack Morgan endearing himself to the Preston fans this time.
Well, that is the task ahead for the Oakleigh Cannons. You want to throw everything at it in the remaining 20 minutes, excluding stoppage time. And see now the set piece being taken. It looks like Ryan Scott's going to come out of his 18-yard box to fashion this long. Here is Ryan Scott.
Double change coming up, Neil, for Louis Jaseski. Looks like it's going to be Connor Bell coming on for Leighton Brooks. Possibly a change up top as well. Perhaps Luke Francis will be the man to come off for Giorgio Sardenis.
As Jonas Markovski gives away the free kick as well. On that far side. So now it is Cannons to take. Going forward now, Joe Guest. Cameron McGill. He's got Spots Boyce to his right. And the attempted diagonal was misdirected. Overhit in its intent. Here is Connor Bell and Giorgio Sardenis. Of course, Bell just the 3 goals this season. formerly of Sunderland, Rotherham, and Wrexham Youth. Well, I mean, for someone that's been at the club since they were in State League 1, it's a true testament to him that he keeps kicking on, and these moments are really made for a player like Connor Bell as Markovski departs, and that other change made now. It's actually Jason Romero, Steve, who's entered the park, the American.
Yeah, looks like he'll line up in the number 10 role. So Luke Francis is going to continue leading the line. Good aerial duel between he and Boyce. Boyce got the better of it that time. Shoulder to shoulder from Salmon against Bozanowski, but Bozanowski won the header there. Sinclair can turn and play forward here. Boyce has got Kasumovic ahead of him, but it's tight spaces. Preston closing down the space, but a judge to have given away the foul, so an opportunity from the set piece for the Cannons. Joe Guest is expert at these kind of deliveries, but he's going to need all of his qualities now to try and find a player in a navy shirt in the box here against the towering mass of the likes of Matt Bozanowski, Jake Trajkowski, and of course Ryan Scott. It's into the back post area. Ajak Dayu working hard. Made contact with the cross. It's out for a goal kick.
I think for the Preston Lions, it's about slowing the game down, slowing the tempo down, ensuring that it's reduced to an atom, this contest. If they're able to do that, they will be under less duress going forward.
No doubt at all. You can hear the Oakleigh fans giving Scott a hard time there as he tries to send the goal kick long. It's a good flick on there by Ramiro, the substitute.
Here's Bell now, back to Sinclair, the central channel. Going to ride the challenge, and effectively does so past Jason Romero, and impeccable work from the Preston Lions in their midfield.
It's Kublai again, picking up, winning the ball back so well.
So incredible in the way that he's able to switch and weave as Albano loses possession back towards Guest, and Jack Dale fizzes it out towards Connor Hampson, and Jack Dale just launches it long. Bozanowski, lancing header, and Negro's in a bit of trouble here as he neatly finds Connor Hampson. Sorry, Connor Bell, should I say. Here is Kublai, strides forward. His trademark first touch, out wide again. This time Salmon looks to loft one in. It's fizzed in towards Ryan Scott.
It was almost a shot.
Yeah, almost a cross-come shot perhaps. As now Albano looking to bypass Brody Boyce, but much to the chagrin of the Preston fans. A neat delivery from Kingsley Sinclair. The header from Salmon. This game feels like it's going to reach a fever pitch at some point. Hasn't quite found it at this point in time, but edging closer to what you feel as if will be a distinct final outcome. A nail will be put in a coffin. We just don't know where at this point, because the Preston Lions have looked lackadaisical in their judgment in these last 10 or 15 minutes or so. And that is the exclamation point to that. Dom Foligno giving away the foul.
Kasumovic asserting himself, but in the previous phase of that play, Brody Boyce, he's been really solid today from right back for the Cannons. He's done a power of work in the attacking third as well, getting forward. Joe Guest taking on the responsibility. Maybe not the right decision there from the experienced Oakleigh Cannons skipper. Tried his luck.
And now Kublai down. Might be requiring some attention.
Could be a bit of cramp, could be a bit of faux cramp as well, as you mentioned. Time wasting could come into play here for Preston, but there's still plenty of time to try and tick away before they can take it easy here, that's for sure.
I think we will see another change for the Cannons, and a much needed one. I think your prayers might be answered, Steve. Thomas Alessandrados looks to be coming on.
Well, it's just a matter of who's coming off. Are they looking to take off? Well, we just gave him a wrap, Brody Boyce. He's been excellent, but his afternoon is done. So Chris Taylor.
Actually, won't be Alessandrados. Actually, will be Campbell Strong.
Who scored that stunning goal in the penultimate round of the season at Olympic Village. And it was his first for the Cannons. It would take something special from him to repeat the dose today, the New Zealander. But he gets his opportunity.
Well, what a time to do it. The former Eastern Suburbs man. They will be playing with 10 men for a brief moment as Oakleigh will depart the pitch.
They have got Brandon Lawton as an option on the bench as well in central midfield if Oakleigh needs to go off, but I fancy Oakleigh won't want to go off against his old team. He wants to play the full 90 and celebrate the victory.
The question is, can he repeat that fact? Here is Ryan Scott to get it clear. He does so. Hall sits nicely for Romero, cutting onto his right. Sort of a bit of a pickle here as Campbell Strong wins it back for the Cannons. His first touch of the football finds its way towards Matthew Dench. Bell for support. He wins it cleanly. Adjudged by Jack Morgan. Luke Jago now. Oakleigh. Now Negro. The Cannons enforcing pressure. And they have won it back in a great position. It's Salmon. A timely interception from Jay Tchaikovsky. Didn't quite know what to do with it once he won the possession. Now with Oakleigh. Out towards Albano. Well, can Sinclair get in the way? He can. Although he's in quite a bit of duress as Feely eventually sends it clear.
Nerves of steel from Sinclair there.
Impeccable.
Albano right on his hammer.
And that will be Preston ball.
It's gone up a notch, hasn't it? Kingsley Sinclair, he's been playing in central midfield. He's been reshuffled to right back into that position that was filled by Boyce. So where he started last week. There's a bit of drama going on in the crowd. Jago's down on... He might be asking for treatment here. He's back up on his feet.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened here. The ball has been taken by Preston supporters, and they are refusing to give it back to Dom Folino. They want to subdue as much time as they possibly can. They don't know where the ball's gone. It's miraculously disappeared.
Maybe a gentleman down there holding it behind his back, but...
Oh, there we go. We have it now. The ball is returned. Although they've actually got another one in that time.
That's the header from Francis, out of play. Preston happy to have the ball up this end of the park. Oh, we must say a big shout out to Nath behind the camera, giving you a detailed look at the action this afternoon. We hope you're enjoying this contest. Steve Curtin and Neil Simons with you. It's 2-1 between two of the form teams of the competition as we head into September, first week of the finals. Elimination final today. Winner will play Heidelberg next week. Likely to be Friday night at Olympic Village, our sources tell us. Ryan Scott taking plenty of time over the restart here. Every second counts. But you fancy, Neil, we're going to have a healthy allotment of stoppage time added at the end of the 90 for these delays. A couple of players down with cramp, a couple of lengthy substitutions, physio called out, etc. Could see maybe as much as 6 minutes added on. That looks like a handball from Kingsley Sinclair. He's gotten away with that one, though, if it was. Pass was a little bit behind Ajak Dayu, but he's able to recover. You mentioned Connor Bell. We've got Connor Bell and Connor Hampson going 1v1 over on the far side as well. It's not too often that you get two Connors in a matchup, but that's a one to watch this afternoon in the final 10 minutes here. Here's McGill, who intercepted from South Melbourne's passing moves and scored last week. And that cross is high and handsome.
Well, we have enticing remaining few minutes as we'll see that John Albano come off for Giorgio Sedenes. That was the opening strike from John Albano.
What a goal that was.
That was what has set the tone here at Jack Edwards Reserve. A delightful finish, and to the introduction now of Giorgio Sedenes. Just the 2 goals to his name this season. A third this afternoon would put him in Preston Lions folklore. As Ryan Scott gets it clear now. Francis with the backwards header. Might find time for Sedenes, although Sinclair was in the way. Francis arriving too. And Jack Deo aware of his surroundings and eventually does find its way towards Kingsley Sinclair, who's deputised at left centre half. Now it is with Jordan Hall out wide again. Is Hampson playing down that left touchline is McGill. Guest again. Took a deflection and Negro will send up the line. Once again with Hampson. Why don't they find space within midfield now? They do, through Campbell Strong. Guest. Surveying his options outside of the foot pass for Salmon. Looking to play it around in the midfield at the moment. They're going to find gaps, but they just aren't forthcoming. Oakleigh is going to launch that out of play again for Cannon's throw.
Yeah, players from both sides just getting a little bit tired now, and you can see it out there. Only at lengthy delays, a few misplaced passes. And Salmon bringing it down. Combines with Hampson, who's got a full head of steam up here. Good defensive work, getting back to win the ball. Jason Romero, the fresh legs. To Francis, and another set of fresh legs is the fleet-footed Connor Bell, who could have been a 200-metre runner if he wanted to be an athlete instead of a footballer. He gets the cross in and he wins Preston a valuable corner kick, and they can take some more time off the clock here. Rousing ovation for Connor Bell. He's a fan favourite. You can see why. Preston Macedonia fans, they love him. If he could score coming off the bench, that would no doubt bring the house down. And not only that, it would seal the result here for Preston. Jago taking plenty of time to wander over and take the free kick. He hasn't had too many to deliver this afternoon, but when he has, they've been on point, as the likes of Matt Bolzanowski are in the box, shading their eyes from the sun. Bolzanowski, Francis, Dennis, all the targets, and Romero as well. And it's through everyone. Romero's at the back post. He lines up for full power, and he didn't get the placement he needed.
Jason Romero, a stunning start to the campaign. Sort of dropped off a little bit. I mean, he is in his 30s now, by many respects. Of course, did start his college career at UCLA. Did have that very short stint at MacArthur 2 seasons ago, arriving as an injury replacement, as we do see Connor Hampson on the deck now.
Yeah, we're going to have a healthy allotment of stoppage time here, you fancy, Neil?
Absolutely. It will be very much a healthy allotment. Still 2-1 at Avenger Park between the Jets and the Avengers.
Connor Hampson, he's worked his socks off today, got himself on the score sheet. And understandably, if he's feeling the effects of this afternoon's battle, it's not too surprising. He's going to just take on a bit of water here. There's something to stop any cramps happening.
Well, they'll play with 10 men for a brief period, but I think it might poise another change for the Cannons. It'll likely be their final of the regulation time period. Hampson is ready to come back on. Salmon. Strong. Oakleigh sits nicely for him. He looks down the line towards Denez. Can he get the beating of Kingsley Sinclair? It's adjudged to be Preston Lions' ball, and he wins the free kick to Sir Denez. Entering the 89th minute now. In a few moments, and the trajectory screams Preston Lions, and the trajectory sends its way towards likely the northern suburbs next week, towards the Olympic Village region.
Oh, what a game that would be.
Oh, wow.
What a matchup.
And now Luke Jago stands alone. Over this one. Might this be the opportunity for Preston's third? It's a high looping cross. Towards the back post it goes now. It sits for Bell. We have Chusangle for Romero. And it's towards Bell. Might it find its way towards Francis? It doesn't. Now last touch had come off the Englishman. Now the Cannons will win themselves a throw. Desperation attempts now.
Francis was just lurking at the back post there, Neil. It wasn't for Jordan Hall there to nick that one away. Can the Cannons get the ball up the other end of the pitch, though? That is the question.
Foul against Cameron McGilp. Now in the 90th minute now in regulation. And I don't think they'll be the usual 5 minutes of stoppage time. It likely will be just a few more.
It's going to be a nervy finish to this one.
Oh, yes.
Whatever the case is. Hall, he's got space and time here to pick his pass forward, and Sinclair's available. A little bit too much on it for Strong. The move breaks down. Disappointing for the Cannons. Strong with the strong challenge, wins the ball well. Here's Guest, trying to pick his pass into the channel for Alex Salmon. It was an excellent ball from Guest, and it's well defended by Dom Foligno. He's had a day to remember, and who spent 5 years in the Melbourne City Academy, grabbing a goal for the first time at senior level in NPL Victoria, and in a final to boot as well, as we see Guest, the left footer, over to deliver the in-swinger. Pressure on Ryan Scott in that Preston defence. That's well away by who else but Ollie Kubalay. Only as far as Strong. Guest is still onside here. No space for the cross, so it's in by Strong instead. It's away by Bozanowski, and he finds Bell. Kubalay's available. Preston trying to get the ball up the other end of the park. So Dennis is frustrated, and Francis is down. And we're going to have the trainer called out here again for Preston. So Preston trainer Elise Ellsworth is working overtime. Have to put a GPS on the trainer as well, because she's been on and off the park.
5 minutes of stoppage time as well, Steve.
There we go. So 5 minutes. So Preston will be happy with that, I fancy.
Oh, I think they'll be very, very happy.
Could have been worse.
And Oz Cup update. If you want to
turn the volume down, if you don't want to know the score. But
Luca Tavir from the penalty spot has made it 2-2. Wowee. Wow. That is some turn of events at Avenger Park.
Please do stay with play here and flick it over at full time.
Adjak Diu will be one of the final passages of the Oakleigh Cannon season. A delightful turn from Kasumovic. Misdirected and can't find its intended target, although it's picked up by Kasumovic once more. Who's actually in an offside position, much to the delight of the Preston Lions fans. They'll bring on two changes as well. It looks like Marcus Schroen and Brandon Lawton are being prepped to come on.
I think we're going to have time on added time here with all of these delays in play in the added 5 minutes. So taking no effort to get off the ground quickly there is Luke Francis. So Marcus Schroen will play as the number 9 for the final couple of minutes. Ollie Kubalay, happy return to Jack Edwards reserve. You'd fancy for him. If things can stay like this, there could be a final sting in the tail, though. If the Cannons are good enough, there's enough time. As we said, 5 minutes is the nominated amount of time. We will have extra time added to that time as well for these delays, including that substitution, Neil.
Yes, we will. They wait with bated breath to the Preston Lions supporters as we've had about 2.5 minutes allotted time elapse. Guest, Hampson, Strong. They have to make these moments count. Out towards Kingley Sinclair. Sent up high. Impeccable header from Krajcovski. Now it is Kingsley Sinclair. Short in towards McGill. Hall just past halfway. Guest. Pushed to ground, is awarded the free kick. The Cannons might look to take it quickly.
That's now or never now, Neil. They've got to go. Here's Sinclair. So Dennis closing him down. McGill, can he get a ball in here? He just dinks it in. Salmon was the target. Everyone in a red shirt behind the ball at the moment. Sinclair again. Enterprising switch of play. Adjak Dayu's gone forward as an auxiliary striker. Kasumovic appeals from handball for the Preston fans. Dayu plays it in. Kasumovic! Was that the moment? Kasumovic contorting his body around the cross. Adjak Dayu playing it in. Trying to find Ryan Scott's top corner there. And it was just past the woodwork and out of play into those Oakleigh fans behind the goal. And that could be the final chance for the Cannons here as we've played 4 minutes of that added 5. Wow, what a moment that could have been for the substitute.
Asad Kazimovic, he had to get it right there. He had to get it correct. But as we stare down the barrel of another chapter etched into the history of the Preston Lions, the Oakleigh Cannons are the side who won't play benefactors.
Well, the Preston fans are ready to pop the champagne corks here. They're not quite there yet. Still some work to do. They're going to try and head for the corner here if they can. Shrone using all of his experience. A handy big game player to be able to bring off the bench in a high pressure situation.
The Cannons will have possession for seemingly what you would expect, the final passage of play.
Yeah, the 5 minutes is up. We're at the discretion of Jack Morgan now. He checks his watch. Headed by Shrone. Sir Dennis is there. Shrone again, a little bit of head tennis down near the corner. Shrone's going to head for the corner flag again. Scrapping for the ball with Sinclair. The Cannons win it back. Dench working hard. It's out of play. It's meaning so much to the Preston Lions. It's been so long since they've faced it. A moment like this, and it's their first win in a final since the 2007 Grand Final. They are well and truly back in the promised land. The Preston Lions are going to go on and play Heidelberg next week, and they've knocked out the 2024 champions. Oakleigh Cannons' season is done. They've been gallant in defeat, but the credit today to the Preston Lions. What a performance by the boys in red, Neil.
17 years of heartache, 17 years of pain, administration, state leagues, rising to the cream of the crop in Victorian football. This, what you are witnessing, is the benchmark in this state across multiple facets: community, atmosphere, and most importantly, football. What a remarkable occasion at Jack Edwards Reserve. What a mouth-watering clash we face next week at the Olympic Village. The arch-old rivalry, Heidelberg United against the Preston Lions. This is one not to miss. And for Chris Taylor's side, they will not repeat for another campaign. And the housewarming for the Cannons ends in narrow defeat.
Well, they're going to party hard tonight, this Preston side, that is for sure. There might be a quick turnaround if they are to play that match on Friday night. Check your local guides for that one. That's going to be a beauty. Heidelberg United against the Preston Lions for a spot in the grand final. And the other match, of course, Avondale against Dandenong City as well, to see who our grand finalists are for 2025. Looking forward to that big gala day of football, grand final day, in a couple of weeks' time at Lakeside Stadium. And could this Preston team, who've made the finals in their first time of asking after being promoted from the VPL 1 last year, could they go all the way to the grand final? The Preston fans here are dreaming of that. There's no doubt about it. They've been inspired today by this group of players. Got the ball rolling. Gian Albano reacting quickly, taking the advantage from a free kick when Jonas Markowski fell to fly home from outside the box on 18 minutes. Dom Polino's deflected effort made it 2. Hampson cut things back. The deficit back to 2-1. That's the way it remained. Both of them managed 4 attempts on goal. It was as hard a fought game as I've seen all year, Neil, and you could see the intensity out there for the full 90. These players are wrecked.
Oh, yeah, they are. Absolutely. I mean, what an occasion we've had this afternoon, and I guess Sunday afternoon football is unrivaled at this level, as we know. And what a great weekend. What a great weekend. Heidelberg got up in the cup. They'll play in the Australia Cup final in about 5 weeks' time. The NPL preliminary finals next week. Avondale up against Dandenong City, and Heidelberg United will face the Preston Lions at the Village. It's been a pleasure, Steve.
Absolute pleasure, Neil. It's been great to witness this fantastic footballing occasion. NPL Victoria finals. Football in Victoria really, really is having a moment, it's fair to say, and soak it in, especially for you Preston fans. We'll sign off here from Jack Edwards Reserve. The home side, they've been ousted from the finals. They are out of action. The champions are out, and it's going to be Preston Lions next week taking on Heidelberg United. Neil Simons, thank you very much for your company. I've been
thank you.
Steve Curtin, Nath behind the camera. You've been fantastic as well. Thanks to you, the viewer at home. Look up these scenes because this is fantastic stuff. Football, passion, pride. It is all here to be seen, and the Preston Lions are triumphant here by 2-1 at Jack Edwards Reserve. Good evening, and thanks for your company.